Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 154 of Build Your Stash and Craft. I thought that this week we would make some really nice handmade Christmas cards that we could take to our family and friends. And so we wound up buying a box of 12 Christmas cards, and the 12 Christmas cards will give us 6 cards and it will give us 6 flat cards. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to do, I think they call it, well, I want to say they call it decoupage, but that's not what we call it here. We call decoupage, like using Mod Podge. But what you're going to do is you are going to take a card and you are going to cut out the pieces of the picture so that we can layer them up and make a nice looking card that, you can buy those types of cards, but they're around $3, $4, $5, where you can make a bunch of these for $1, but they look really nice and they're handmade. So what I've done, I've already started because I didn't want you to have to sit here and watch me cut. But what I did was I just took the card and I cut out the car, and then I cut out the packages, and I cut out this little tree, and I want to cut out this little tree over here. So I'm just going to do that really quick. And you just want to cut on the lines. This one has a little, it has a stump on it, but if you think about it, when you look at a tree, the stump is not at the outside edge of the tree, it's in the middle of the tree. So we don't, or I guess you don't call that a stump unless the tree's cut down. It's going to be a stump in just a second because I just cut it off. But the trunk of the tree. So that kind of sits in the middle of the tree, so we don't need that. This one also had a little star on the top. I tried cutting that out on my sample, but that star is just too little to try and cut out, so I'm just cutting that off and just cutting around the tree. And then what we can do is we can layer these different things up to just make a really nice looking card. So now I have all of the bits cut out that I want to cut out. Now I could cut this one out if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. We'll let that one set back a little bit further. And this is what we're left with. All right, so what we're going to do with this one is we are just going to cut it straight, and you can use your trimmer. I'm not great at cutting things straight, so I really probably should use my trimmer, but just cut that nice and straight. Now on the back you have a nice sentiment that you can put to and from on there, and then that's not super pretty, but we can take this that we're not going to use and we can just cut around it in a nice pretty shape. Give us a decoration for the top of our flat card, just like that. And now there's so many things you can do to decorate these up. This one might look nice if you put something underneath of it that looked like snow. I was looking and I didn't get a chance to find anything, and then I forgot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on here. We've got this pretty Christmas tree on the back, so I can put it way up here if I want a really tall card, or put it down close. And then we're just going to glue this. It's going to stick up a little bit above. Let me move this one out of the way. It'll stick up a little bit above here. If I decide that I want it right about there, then I'm going to have about a ½ inch sticking up right here, which is totally fine. I just don't want to put glue there because I don't want glue all over the part that we're going to put their name in. They will be looking at it. So we're just going to take a little bit of glue and just kind of rub it around a little bit so it's not too thick in any one spot. And just kind of line it up on each side. And give it a press. And that makes for a really nice flat card. Now you've got a nice area here to decorate. I want to make sure I've got it straight on the back. There we go. I'm going to trim this up a little bit on each side. go. Alrighty. Now we have a very nice sentiment on the back of our card. And so you say, well, what am I going to do with this? You can do anything. You can decorate this with trees or with a reindeer or anything that you want to. And one thing I thought of was when I cut up my card, I had this little bit of snow when I cut the car out. I had this extra down here. So that was garbage. And I was looking at this here. So I cut this into 2 little squares. And then I cut the squares on a diagonal, so that I wound up having, I had 2 squares like this, and then I just cut them on a diagonal so that I had 4 triangles. And then what you could do, you know how everybody sends out the postcards. Now, you wouldn't be able to mail this the way it is. You would either have to put it in an envelope or just deliver it to your family when you see them for Christmas. But I just want to keep pressing that down a little bit. So, but what you could do with this, I thought, and I didn't have a family photo to put here, but you could take a family photo and you just take the corners just to tie it all together and just put a corner on there offset like that, just like that. And then glue your picture to it. Now, what I want to do is I just want to take a pencil. I'm going to put these on here like this. Like this. And then I'm just going to take a pencil to kind of mark where I want them. I want them to be offset. I want a distance between the edge of where my picture will be and my corners, because we're going to have to glue the corners down, so we're going to have a spot for glue. So what I would like to do is just take this and say I'm going to put this one right here, and I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so that I can make a pencil line, and then I'm going to put my glue right on that pencil line, and then this will be up here just a little bit. Okay, so I've got one there, and then this one I'm going to do the same thing too down here. Okay, it's moved up a little bit, so I'm going to put a line right there, and that's where I'm going to glue that. Now I know that, let me see, I'm just kind of lining up with that line. And I'm going to, there's the edge of my picture. I'm going to come over about this far, just so that so that these two wind up straight. And I'm going to come down here and line up with this line and put a mark right there. Okay, so that's where I'll put my glue. Now I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to put it aside because I need to glue these on and let them dry before I put my picture in there, or my picture will be glued in. I'm only going to glue them on the top two, and on the bottom two. That way you can easily slide your picture in this way, and your picture can also be easily slid out after the holidays so that they can keep the picture. I was going to put my glue on that line. I just need to go above that line because I put my glue on here. Go just a little bit above that line. And put on the top of this one. So that way the picture doesn't have to stay in there because, you know, on the holidays, you know, everybody loves to receive the cards, but the Christmas cards. But then kind of what, you know, I put pictures on my refrigerator. I'm going to put that just a little above that line. Just kind of look and make sure that the two are about the same height. And because we made a nice sized triangle here, there's a lot of space there that can grab your picture, so you don't have to worry about exactly how far distance you have because you've got a lot of area there. And then we're just going to put some on the bottom of this one. But yeah, so I like it. Sometimes I take Christmas cards and I cut them, and then you want to make sure you're kind of lined up here. I cut the picture off of the Christmas card that I got because I want to keep the picture, but I don't want a Christmas card on my refrigerator all year long. And so, but sometimes that's hard to do. So this way they get a nice picture, And they can just slide that picture out and do with it what they want to. Put it in a scrapbook or, and no, I just did that wrong. I put it on the bottom, it would be backwards. Okay, let's get rid of that. Hope it doesn't dry. Hope it doesn't stick. I'm gonna put that one there, this way. But yeah, so this is just a really nice little, the kind of postcard you can order, but it's handmade. So I want to look at my bottom and make sure they're about even. I want to look at my sides and make sure that they're about even all the way around and give them a good press. Just like that. And now that's going to be really cute. The only thing is that right here, because this is the back of the card, it's got this lettering on the back of the card. And so what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of our bling that we got in the roll a long time ago. And I'm just going to cut off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will work. And you want to try and stick with odd numbers whenever you're doing anything with, you know, you're putting pearls or bling or something onto your projects, because the eye is more comfortable with an odd number. That's what I hear. And actually, if you try it, it really does kind of, it works. If you look at something with 2 and then you put up on a third one and you look at it, the 3 will look better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just cutting off the little strings right next to the blingy part so that they don't stick out and look fuzzy as best as I can. And then I'm just going to, wait a minute, I've got a couple little strings sticking out on this end. There we go. Just gonna put some glue on the back and glue it across that little line, and no one will ever know that those letterings were there. And we don't want it to be too thick because we don't want it to all stick out. And this is not real thick. It's something you can't mail it like as a postcard, but you could stick it in an envelope and mail it out. Just going to put that right across there and just make sure that it's straight. There we go. And then maybe take just a few little, crystals that we got a while back and stick those right in the middle of the, once you push it down, it's stuck. Put them in the middle of the snowflakes. So we'll put a few of those on there just to give us a little bit extra bling. Make it look a little more homemade. Put one there and put a little one right on top of the Christmas tree. Oh, come on, I didn't push it down yet. There we go. So there we go. We're going to have our picture in there. And that is what that looks like. You can put a little glitter on there, a little snow on there. Like I said, with the way that I cut this, it would look really cute if I had some snow sticking out underneath. But there we go. Now we have a really nice card that we can use to give to someone for the holidays. And then we'll go ahead and we will now put together our decoupage card. We have our pieces cut out. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to think, what is closest to me and what is furthest away? whatever's closest to me is going to be lifted up the most. So the car is going to be the closest to the front of this picture. And so I have the puffy tape that we bought at the Dollar Tree quite a long time ago, and I'm just going to measure out about the length of the car. And I'm going to pop this up 4 thicknesses of the car, because then I can do 3 and I can do 2, so that things move back as the picture. Okay, now got that a little bit off, but it's not going to come apart. I already learned that the last time, so I'm going to cut that there. So now I have 2 thicknesses, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the 2 thicknesses in half as best as I can, since I got it off, but that doesn't matter. It's going to be underneath the car. Nobody's going to see it. And I'm going to take this one. So now I have 2 thicknesses here. Oops, I can't get it off. There we go. And 2 thicknesses here, so this gives me 4 thicknesses. Pop those 2 together. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to peel this off. So here's our card, but here's the card that we cut out. You could, even if you wanted to, you could cut the wheels out and make the car a little higher than the wheels. And that would look really cute too. For time's sake, I'm not going to do that, but I think that would be cute. So we're going to do 4 thicknesses here, and I'm going to do 4 thicknesses right up here. Because you want to have enough on there to keep it sturdy. If you put it right in the middle, the bottom might bend down or the top might bend down, and you want it to stay nice and flat. Okay, so there's 2. Oops, I should have cut it. Thank goodness the scissors that I have here are supposed to be nonstick. I should have cut it before I took the papers off. All right, so there's 4 there. Put that at the top of the car. Peel this one off. And then you're just going to line it up. Got too much stuff in my way. Line it up with the car underneath. And just put that right on there. See, now it's really nice and solid here. It's really nice and solid here. So there we go. Now we have our car that's popped up. And you can edge this if you want to. You could use like maybe some red of your inks and go ahead and edge it. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here for a second. I am going to put tape on the back of the other bits that I've cut out, and then I'll come back and we'll put them together, and I'll tell you how many layers and stuff I did. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have the puffy tape on each of my little elements here. So what I did with the little red tree, because I'm going to say he's sitting back a little bit further, I put 1 piece of tape on him. And the other reason that I did that is because this is the one with the star on the top, and I don't want to ignore the star, so I want to put something there. So I wanted it to be at a closer level. The little green one over here, I did 2 levels of puffy tape, so it would stick up a little bit more than the other tree. And then for the packages, I went ahead and I cut the packages here and here, so that I had 3 sets of packages. And on the very first one, I cut it. Oops, I didn't cut it. I put 4 pieces of puffy tape on it, so it would be at the same level as the car. And then you just line them up with what's underneath. So that one has 4 pieces of tape on it. then the next one, so that it sits back just a little bit, I'm going to say this one has three, or I'm not going to say that. This one does have 3 pieces of tape on it. You know how when you stack packages, you know, you always stack them from the biggest to the smallest. So, and then the ones on the very top. So this was 4, this was 3, and this one is 2. So they just go back just a little bit, not a lot. But it does make a difference. It's really quite cute. So, and then what you do is you just decorate it up. So, like I want to put a little something on the top of the Christmas tree. So I pulled out some sequins that I had, and I thought that this turquoise really went nicely with this background. So I thought I'll just put a turquoise sequin on the top of that tree in place of the star. And just glue it on with a little bit of tacky glue. Now you can put glitter on these. You can do, you know, so many things with these. Oops. And I want the dome part to be up, just because I do. There's no reason for that. Put that right on top of that little star. Press it down. There we go. And then we'll put some of the little, these little diamantes right in the center of a few of our snowflakes. There we go. Put one here. Maybe we'll put 2 up at the top. Put one over here. Oh, it didn't come off the paper. And we will put one over here. Alrighty. And then, just for a little bit of added interest, the car has some snow on it. And so I did want to get a little bit of snow on here. So remember when we made our, let's see, what is that called? Our faux flower soft. We made it with the styrofoam balls, and we made all different colors. And I had a little bit of styrofoam balls left, so I just made some snow to go on here with those 2 styrofoam balls. And let me show you what we've got here. I put it inside this napkin right here so that I could keep folding it and putting the foam back in the middle. This will probably be hard to see. I put it on a white napkin, but there is our styrofoam there, and all I did was take 2 pieces of styrofoam. It doesn't have to be styrofoam balls. 2 pieces of the white styrofoam, regular styrofoam, and you just rub them together. And when you rub them together, they break all apart. And so that's what I did for the snow, and I just put glue where the snow was on the car, and then I'm just going to take this and kind of put a pile on there. You don't want to squish it too much, but you do kind of want to push it down a little bit because you want it to catch into that, into the glue. Like that. And I'm going to dump the excess off so that I have enough to put right up here on the front of the car. And I just think that that just makes it, to me, this is my favorite part. I think it just gives it that little boost that it needs to make it Christmassy. It's got to have a little bit of Christmas snow on it. For those of you that live down south, I lived in Texas for 6 years. I'll tell you what, I never missed the snow except at Christmas. And I just can't imagine a Christmas without snow. Well, I can't imagine. I was there once. But you know, it just, my niece and my nieces live in Florida, and you know, they always thought it was so cool when they came up at Christmas time, you know, to see snow, and that always amazed me because, you know, we're just used to it here, and you don't think about it. Even thinking about those who are in like Australia and stuff like that, where it's summertime now instead of wintertime, and having Christmas in the middle of the summer. It just seems so different, but to you all, that's probably very normal. So there we go. Now our car has snow on top. We've got our packages piled up, ready to go. We've got the Christmas trees that we're driving by. I just think that that is really cute. I like that. You know, this is a card that you could pay a lot of money for, but you don't have to because, you know, like I said, this cost us $1 to make 6 of these. And then let's see how this one is doing. And see, here's another one. I have another one. Oops, that one's got a little. There's another one, just like it. But you're giving them to different people, so nobody's going to know the difference. Where's the one that... Oh, it's over here. The one that we're going to take our picture and just slide our picture in there like this. Kind of line it up a little bit. Of course, this is not square either, or rectangular, because I cut it by hand. But there we go. So there you can send them a picture, and then when the holidays are over, they can just take that picture and they can just slide it out. They can keep it, and they can do with this whatever they would like to do, what people do that are not crafty with cards. But if they're crafty, they can keep it and they can use it for something for next year. But I really do like the way that these turned out, and you know, it takes a little bit of time to do them, but it's fun. Don't forget, on the back of this card, to put handmade by. You did make this card. You made this look the way that it looks. You made it special. And so don't forget to put handmade with love on the back. And, you know, so that they know that you took the time. You didn't just go to the store and buy some card for them. You took the time to make it yourself. And it's easier to slide it in from the edge. But it fits that way too. So there we go. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I really have fun making cards when I get a chance. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye. Okay, it's been quite busy around here lately. I bet you're saying, wait a minute, what about next week? For next week, we are going to need some wrapping paper, or some nice thin paper, it works easier, that has a pattern that's small enough to fit on about a 1-inch square. So you just want something that you don't want something with a great big pattern like this that you're going to cut it up and not know what it is. So something with a very small pattern or print on it. So a roll of wrapping paper. Let's see, let's set that down there. And a styrofoam block. And if you have kids blocks, that will work. This styrofoam block, we are going to cut it into 1-inch squares or 2-inch squares, whatever we decide we want to do. But I couldn't find, when we made our art dice that you roll them and they give you the different prompts, we got some little blocks at the Dollar Tree. I could not find them at the Dollar Tree, so I had to find something to use in their place. So any kind of a block, 1-inch, 2-inch, you could make them all the way up to 4 inches, 5 inches, however large you want them. But we're going to work with 1-inch this next week. So you're going to need a styrofoam block or some regular kids blocks. And then a package of twine from the Dollar Tree. You don't have to have this, it's just for decoration. And then we're going to need some letters out of magazines, books, that will fit in a 1-inch square. So this is what we're going to need for next week. We spent $3 for next week. That puts $2 more in our bank. And I don't have my book here to give a total, but we're going to add $2 to our bank. Thank you very much again for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.